Have you been thinking about embarking on a plant medicine journey? Have you been thinking about taking psychedelics? Before you go ahead and find a shaman on Craigslist or on Facebook Marketplace, let me share with you what has really helped me in my own journey. I've been diving deep into plant medicine and psychedelics for the past 6 years. As a matter of fact, I mentioned in a previous video about ayahuasca that ayahuasca changed my life. This by no means is an advice for you to go and embark on plant medicine or to take psychedelics. This is just my own personal experience, and I'm going to share with you what I wish I had known back in the day. My first encounter was with mushrooms, and I remember taking mushrooms as a teenager in Spain, and I was like, holy moly, I truly believe the world should be like this. I was walking in what it would be like Central Park of Madrid, in Retiro Park, and all the leaves, the plants, the trees. I was, wow, this is really beautiful. I was not tripping like they depict something in movies, seeing all these crazy things. I was just really connecting to nature. Fast forward many years, and I was still consuming mushrooms, cubensis or golden teachers, because I always preferred to take mushrooms instead of taking alcohol. And I would go to music festivals or to raves, and it was really, really beautiful. And I was never using them as a way to tap out, to disconnect from my emotions. As a matter of fact, I was able to feel much more what was happening within, and it helped me a lot navigate my late teenage years and years also in university. But then ayahuasca came into my life. And my mom invited me and my partner to go on an ayahuasca venture in Peru. And I knew some of it, but I really didn't have an idea of how strong and how potent and mostly how sacred this medicine was. And this is one of the first things I want to share with you. Plant medicine and psychedelics should be always treated with respect and in a sacred manner. I'm not going to tell you that I knew all about this sacredness when I was consuming mushrooms, magic mushrooms back in the day. But I knew it was just not something you just do. It was like, for me, it was like, okay, a special day, and I would not even do it that often. And it really marked my life by just having that respect without even having that knowledge of respect. But plant medicine is a very sacred tool of connection. So when I did my first journey of ayahuasca, my life changed. Literally, my life changed to the point that I decided to quit university and pursue the passion of cooking and sign up to a cooking course and just really appreciate going to learn something that I love and not just going to school just to get a title, to be able to impress my family and friends and my employee. I remember being in ayahuasca and I was like, am I doing all this to be able to show my employee that I'm a good citizen and I'm gonna get promoted to get an office space by myself and maybe down the road be able to be pre-approved for a mortgage? I was like, no fucking way. And that's when I moved my life into doing what I love. Ayahuasca showed me, like, you are here on this planet, your physical form is a finite being. So be wise in your decisions and be wise in what you choose to invest your time, because once your time comes up, it's gone. You might come back in a different body vessel, you might come into a different plane in a different world, but choose wisely, because you don't want to die the last day of your life and regret because you were just pleasing others, pleasing your family. That experience with ayahuasca also showed me that I was here to serve. I was not here to just make money and to be glamorous or just to wear the bling bling. Not that I was always any time with bling bling, but it was just the notion that I was here for a deeper sense. I was here on purpose. And that was the first time I had a ceremony that I was guided by a shaman, by a facilitator. I understood that there's all these protocol to be able to create this sacred prayer. Many years now forward, I understand that for me, doing plant medicine is like going to church. It's a way that I come together with brothers and sisters to commune with a common feeling and objective, which is to enhance our life and to enhance the world and to uplift the world from this density we are navigating. I've also tried mescaline, which is peyote or San Pedro. I've tried also some synthetic like LSD. And all these medicines, each of them have their own teaching, but they also have to be treated with uttermost respect. And this is a calling for anybody that is interested in participating or journeying with psychedelics. It's not a game. As you will find, if you try to do it as a game, you will get hurt. And that's when we have heard some of the stories of people navigating into non-ordinary states, which is where you go with plant medicine, because it's not really psychedelic. You are not hallucinating. You're just starting to see much more of your reality. But if you are not prepared, and that's when people take it as a game, you will get hurt. And it's not that the plant medicine or the entheogen or the substance you're consuming is dangerous. It means that you were not ready. So really there's no such thing as a bad trip. The only thing is that the tripper was not ready for the lessons. So what happens when you start discovering and going deeper into this psychedelic world? You start to understand that it's not about the medicine, it's about the integration. And this is one of the biggest teachings I want to share after respect and make it sacred, make it a ceremony, is integration. There's no benefit of any of these medicines if you don't integrate them in your daily life. It's the same thing as yoga. I've been practicing yoga for 7 years. I practiced yoga just before doing my first plant medicine journey, at least like in a ceremony way. Many people practice yoga, they go to the gym, they get their movement, they get their sweaty yoga pants and sweaty yoga mat, and they get their Instagram picture, but then they are not embracing the yogic path. And then really that's not yoga, that's just movement, which is great, you feel fit, but that's not yoga. Yoga really starts off the mat when you integrate it. And the same goes with plant medicine. If you are interested in doing plant medicine, make sure you have ways to integrate your experience. Talk to your facilitator. Hey, how can I integrate this ceremony? Maybe start having, I always tell people, maybe have a practice even before going to plant medicine. Start by doing breathwork, start by doing yoga, by doing meditation, start by doing gardening. Just engage in a practice that allows you to be fully present. And why am I saying this? Because when you embark on a plant medicine journey, when you come back home, you have changed, but your house hasn't changed, your environment hasn't changed, your parents haven't changed, your friends haven't changed, your partner hasn't changed, your cat hasn't changed, your dog hasn't changed. The politicians have not changed. And that's when I see from many people I've been seeing and working throughout the years, is they come back home and they hit the wall, and they come back and they relapse, which not really, because they already have the teachings, but they come back into old habits, old ways. And unless you want to be spending money, spending energy, spending time, and wasting medicine, make sure you have a plan, a structure for you to come back home and not do the same old. Because us humans are made out of the habits that we do, either consciously or unconsciously. So when you do plant medicine, one of the biggest opportunities we have is that plant medicine breaks the pattern. It stops everything. Time and space stops. When you do ayahuasca, when you do 5-MeO-DMT, which is the toad medicine, when you do LSD, suddenly you see much more of your subconscious, of your conscious being, of the world, of the environment you live, and you're like, I have all these insights. But if you come back to the same triggers, you will become the same old you were before going to the ceremony. So integration is very important. And that's why I keep sharing on the link below a guided breath practice that allows you to start every single morning with a new sense of well-being. You do your breathing, you visualize, you contemplate, you enter a state of gratitude, and I guide you through like a 20-minute more or less practice. So every morning you set the standard for your life. If you don't set the standard, somebody else will do it. And when you do plant medicine, it's even more important to have a way to connect to the teachings you've learned, to connect to your own true self every single morning. Number 3, be aware of who you are choosing to journey and the space where you're journeying. I remember listening talks about Ram Dass and other psychonauts and teachers from back in the 60s, and they all discovered, and I think even now in Johns Hopkins University, that they've been doing lots of trials with psilocybin, with mushrooms, magic mushrooms, and also with MDMA, MAPS association. They always say set and setting, it's so important. First of all, you take it as sacred, as a ritual. Second, you make sure you have integration tools. And third, make sure that wherever you're gonna do it, all this is preparation, as you can see. But when you're about to do it, set and setting. I'm not telling you should go and do it with maps or you should go do it in a hospital. You will find a way to do it. But make sure you are doing it with the right people, with the right mindset, with the right intentions. Because if you have a right set and you have a right setting, your experience will be magnified. Your experience will be a transcendental experience. Your experience will be probably one of the most significant experiences in your entire life. But if you choose to do it in the wrong space, and what is a wrong space? A space where you don't feel safe, a space where you don't feel clean and comfortable, a space where there's lots of other energies, maybe like a small apartment with lots of people moving around, or in a busy street, you are gonna feel all those energies. I tell you, I've had so many friends tell me, like, I was freaking out because my apartment and I heard the neighbors. Make sure you find a quiet, comfortable space. If you can, rent an Airbnb, go into nature, find a facilitator, an experienced facilitator that lives in nature that can guide you through the experience. And the company, who are you doing it with? With people that have journeyed in the past, or are you doing with all newbies? There's nothing wrong with being new at anything. We've all been new at certain point in our life, but it's always recommended to journey with people that have experience. It's like all going into a boat and being like, hey, who's the captain of this boat? It's always good to go with somebody that knows a little bit more. Overall, make sure that you have the right intention in your heart. Because plant medicine and psychedelics are not going to heal you. They're not here to do the work for you. Psychedelics, plant medicine, entheogens are here to awaken within yourself the tools, bring the answers, bring those aha moments so you can do the work. So what's your intention? Is it just to know more and be the one that knows the most? That will be your ego. Is it just to prove your friends that you have the balls, excuse my French, to do something radical like taking plant medicine? Is it to please somebody else? Or is it really because you are ready to change? And that's my last tip, and my last thing that I wish I had known the first time I did plant medicine is be ready to change. Again, it's endless, the list of people I've seen and I've talked to that are talking about changing, that want change, that do all these courses and they're really, really wanting to change. But at the core of their nature, they're not ready for change. So if you're doing plant medicine, most of the times it's not gonna fix anything, it's not gonna heal anything, it's gonna bring light to all the parts of your body that need attention, to all the shadows that you've been carrying, to all the baggage, to all the excuses, to all the pains, to all the suffering that you've been hiding consciously or unconsciously somewhere in your body, somewhere in your subconscious. And now is the time to do the work. That's why I'm asking you, are you ready to change? So ask yourself before going into a ceremony, am I ready to change, or I just want to go to reaffirm what I know? And one of the most beautiful teachings from Jordan Peterson, from his 12 rules for living, or 12 laws of life, 12 rules of life, is either you come to a conversation as the one that knows everything, or as you don't know anything. And that is the key for plant medicine. Come open-minded, without expectations. with your intention, but open to change, open to get a new perspective. Because if not, you are gonna be fighting against this powerful energy that is plant medicine or entheogens. And trust me, I've been there. You will never win. You will never succeed. Universal consciousness will make you understand, but if you make it easy, it's easy. If you make it hard, it will be a pain and suffering the whole trip. I trust that this small ramble about my experience with plant medicine can and will support you in your journey. If you want to know more about how to be empowered, how to awaken your supernatural self, how to remove mental barriers, how to be yourself and who you're meant to be, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you leave a comment telling me your own experience, and I'll be happy to reply. And don't forget to download your free guided meditation and breathwork so you can already experience some of the elements of plant medicine, which is enhanced awareness that we can access every single day by our own means, through our lungs and through our mind. Namaste and blessings. See you soon.